Tuesday, May 14th. Welcome back to the Damon Brew Show, brought to you by Ike's Sandwiches. It is awesome to have you here the day before the NFL schedule comes out. We have a little more information. The 49ers are going to be opening on Monday Night Football. I'm really glad that this news dropped because the thumbnail that I put up last night was about Farhan and the Giants just falling short against a much more talented LA Dodgers team. And I just knew that it was going to doom this show to a bad viewership. And then all of a sudden this morning we find out it's Aaron Rodgers coming back to Northern California to kick off the football season September 9th at 5:20. It's bum, 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 dum, 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 dum. Oh, yeah. Robert Saleh returns to his head coaching jumping off point. The 49ers are opening at home for the first time since 2020. 49ers looking to return to the Super Bowl. Let's go. We got ourselves a week one matchup, and putting the cherry on top of week one is going to be 49ers and Jets on Monday Night Football. Again, that is a pretty sexy matchup. There's no doubt about it. Brandon Ayuk versus Sauce Gardner. Sure. Javon Kinlaw plays his first game for his new team against the only team he's ever known. Sure. Why not? Brock Purdy with a fully functional off season coming off of that injury. This is the first time he's ever had a normal off season. What does that mean? Aaron Rodgers, nothing about that guy is normal anymore. Certainly a brief stint in 2023 didn't last very long. Aaron Rodgers was carted off before the Jets punted once. So that obviously didn't go according to plan. America's premier sports conspiracy theorist, a guy who was flirting with a vice presidential rumor with the Kennedy campaign. I mean, like, Aaron Rodgers is so far down the rabbit hole of just insane online conspiracy shit. I don't even really think about him as a football player anymore, but he is a quarterback. And when he was healthy for quite a decent amount of time there, he's a really, really good quarterback. Can he be that again? I really don't know. Just looking at some of these early season matchups that we're looking at, it feels like the NFL is prioritizing early season marquee matchups and great quarterback matchups based on the small amount of the schedule that we actually know about, in fear that, these elite quarterbacks that people tune in to watch are going to be knocked out due to injury, due to the wear and tear of the NFL. So, as the schedule leaks and creeps out just a little bit today, with the official announcement dropping tomorrow, and we're going to go live at 5 on Wednesday when the schedule officially comes on out. But it feels like the NFL is worried about quarterbacks getting hurt and scuttling good matchups later in the year. So maybe they're front loading them this year. I don't know, man. It's just a theory. I don't know if it's even a real one. But, you got Brock Purdy off of his first ever fully functional offseason versus Aaron Rodgers, who will be running his fifth play with the New York Jets when Monday Night Football kicks off. He's run 4 plays for the Jets in the regular season before he tore that Achilles. So very interesting, to say the least. The facts of the week one matchup. This isn't about opinions of how interesting it is. These are just the facts, ma'am. Aaron Rodgers is 3-4 in road games against the 49ers. Remember, this is a guy on draft day, and this is when I liked Aaron Rodgers, when, he was asked about if he regrets not being drafted by the Niners, as he fell in one of the greatest green room, look at this guy fall moments in NFL history. Aaron Rodgers basically said the 49ers are going to regret not drafting me more than I'm going to regret not drafting them. And look, he was right about that. Alex Smith was a fine quarterback, nice guy. Everyone liked him. Aaron Rodgers dwarfs him in terms of career impact, what you mean to NFL history. 6-3 is Aaron Rodgers in his career against the 49ers. And unfortunately for the 49ers, this isn't a postseason game because Aaron Rodgers just cannot beat the 49ers in the postseason. He's 0-4 against the 49ers in the postseason. So obviously to say we're looking forward to week one getting here is the understatement of the sports year, for goodness sakes. And can't wait to see where the channel is by the time that Monday Night Football game officially rolls around. Please like and subscribe. We are like a handful away of new subscribers from 20,000. We'll either get there tonight or by tomorrow afternoon. And again, I thank you all for the support. It means so much to me, my family, going forward that you followed me over here. I think I've done more to move Northern California sports audiences from one place to another than any other human being who's ever lived. I basically took KNBR's audience, brought them to 95.7 The Game, and now I'm bringing that audience over here to YouTube, and we are growing exponentially faster than certainly either radio station, certainly more than most content creators. And I thank you all so very much for being here to support what we're doing. It means so much. It really does. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your loyalty and your love, for your super chats, for your memberships. It's been a while since you've heard from Sports Bane. He must be lurking somewhere, don't you think? But just liking and subscribing does an awful, awful lot to keep this chugging along, as does my man Ike. And, our signature sponsor, Mr. Ike, is serving up the best sandwiches, I think, in the United States. And if you don't believe me, go find out for yourself. No matter what your craving might be, he has a sandwich to match it. Right now, I think they're still running that 420 promo where they got flaming hot Cheetos on a sandwich. And if that isn't a good crunchy stoner idea, I don't know what is. So get to Ike's. Get yourself lit before you go in there and order aggressively. You will be very, very happy with what ends up on your plate for lunch. And again, if you're thinking about ordering lunch for your office, look at Ike's Catering. Thank you so very, very much to my man Ike. And the next time you're looking to just drown a sorrow, celebrate a victory, just relax with a nice cold one, get yourself to the Dubliner, West Portal. Love those guys very much. Great bartenders, great clientele. It's a neighborhood bar. It's a sports bar. It's an Irish bar. It's kind of everything you want in a bar, all wrapped up into one. They're not trying to serve you food. It's just serving drinks. Go ahead, put yourself in for a reservation somewhere on West Portal. Walk on down to the Dubliner, get a cocktail while you wait, and then go to dinner. It's a great idea. So, love my sponsors, love this audience. Thank you so very much for everything you've done. Wild amount of loyalty, and that means an awful lot to me because I see disloyalty everywhere I look these days. It is all around us, and loyalty means an awful lot to me. Call me old-fashioned. I'm kind of a loyalty guy. Means an awful lot. So thank you very much to Ike's, to the Dubliner, to all of you for the super chats, for the subscriptions, for the likes, for the notifies, everything. Means an awful lot. So we got some stuff to get into today. We're going to get to Club Plus much later on. We have some things to talk about here. Getting back to the NFL, what we know about the schedule ahead of the big release on Wednesday is as follows. Week 1, the entire season begins. Ravens at Chiefs. We found that out on Monday. That's the first Thursday night football game of the year. We get a week 1 game in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Okay, Packers versus Eagles. And that game is going to be on a Friday. So we're going to get a week 1 international game from Brazil. So put your booty shorts on and get ready. Friday. I mean, the NFL has always pretty much looked at Friday as we're not going to try to pluck that from high school kids. I guess that's gone out the window. Or maybe it's just a one-off and it's not totally gone out the window, but we all know that the NFL would literally crash high school football teams' buses for better ratings. So let's not pretend that they really care. But Packers and Eagles, Friday of opening week. Our first official Sunday shows us Cowboys at Browns as the marquee game of that Sunday, and I can prove to you that that's the marquee game. It's the Fox game of the week, and it's going to be Tom Brady's debut in the booth. So there you go. Week 1 obviously ends Monday night in Santa Clara. We have found out that week 2 will offer up Bengals at Chiefs. This is what made me think of, geez, get those marquee quarterbacks out of the way, because who wants to watch the Cincinnati Bengals if Joe Burrow's not out there? The answer, no one. Not even Bengals fans, I don't think. So, yeah, get that matchup front and center. That could be a sexy game. We're also going to see week 2, the first Thursday night football game on Amazon Prime. That's going to be Bills at Dolphins. So we got a big AFC East tilt right off the rip there. And the only other thing that I can tell you about the Super Bowl, or excuse me, the schedule right now, is that the Super Bowl is going to be played February 9th in New Orleans. So tomorrow, Wednesday, is when the entire schedule drops, and we will go live. We will have ourselves an emergency show around the NFL schedule. Imagine if I still had to work with Ray Ratto and how much he would have hated that. Oh, Ray would have hated that. Anyway, another piece of 49ers news to pass by you today. They have added an offensive tackle who's got an awful lot of NFL experience to varying degrees of effect, but he's been around the league for years now. The 49ers signed free agent tackle Chris Hubbard to a 1-year, $1.3 million deal. It's veteran depth. It's a possible swing tackle candidate. And let's be honest, you know, this guy has played across the entire offensive line, so maybe he's there to push McKivitz. Maybe he's there to push, you know, Burford or, you know, anyone from center to right tackle better come in looking to play good football because, again, they got a swing tackle here in Hubbard, who started 9 games at right tackle last season for Tennessee before getting to the injured list. Ian Rappaport says he's had a handful of snaps at every other position on the offensive line during his career as well. So versatility, backup, veteran presence, that's probably where I think he plugs into this team's roster. Hubbard, Brandon Parker, and Jalen Moore are right now the 3 guys competing for the swing tackle spot on this team. And maybe there's even more to compete for over at right tackle if somebody really stands out with an exemplary training camp preseason. You know, there's snaps to be had. Snaps to be had for sure. We've also got some news. Hold on, I got to cue them up. And by the way, doesn't it feel good to be back in
Maximum
And on that note,
doesn't matter if you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes, I will beat your ass.
And he's going to try to beat your ass with Jared Goff as his quarterback going forward. News out of Detroit this Tuesday is that Jared Goff has agreed to a $212 million extension to stay in Detroit. Makes him the highest paid, I believe, annual athlete in the history of the city of Detroit. All Pistons and Tigers, due respect, all Red Wings. Sorry, Stevie Yzerman. You weren't quite banking $50 million a year like Jared Goff is going to be. And let me tell you, if you thought $50 million a year would go far in California, wait until you see how far it goes for you in Detroit and Michigan. I'm pretty sure that if Jared Goff wanted to buy the governor's mansion, he could. Like, I'm pretty sure Jared Goff could buy the Ford factory for that price. I mean, that's how much square footage you get for $50 million in Detroit. But good for Jared Goff, right? Guy goes to a Super Bowl, is still deemed not good enough by his coach. They bring in Stafford, and obviously McVay can say, I won a Super Bowl, so it was worth it, and it probably was. But Jared Goff went from number 1 overall pick to overly criticized to finally landing in a city that appreciates him, that's winning for him, and it fits. Jared Goff fits in Detroit. And considering the fact that he's one of the only living human beings to ever win a playoff game for the Detroit Lions, I don't even think it's outrageous to say that, Jared Goff has already played himself into the top 12, top 10 Detroit Lions of all time. He's only been there for a couple of years. So, good for him. I like when a story turns from everybody doubts you to now this group believes in you, and it just takes a group of people to believe in you for you to really have success. So, again, maybe this is what got me thinking about the group of you believing in me, coming along with me, and I'm getting all mushy, and we don't want to do that anymore. So let's move on to the other big news of the day, certainly here in the Bay Area, and welcome to the Valkyries. So I was tipped off to this name about a week ago. I've already done a Valkyrie video that I hope when we're done with this live show, you might consider checking out on the YouTube page. It is a welcome video to the Valkyries, and I got to tell you right now, it's a really good name. I think it's a solid logo, and I see a lot of people praising the color schemes, and obviously colors are personal preferences, right? Just because I like or don't like a color doesn't mean you have to subscribe to that as well. I have always thought that the color purple moved slow as a uniform. I've always thought Northwestern looked a little slow. I don't think purple moves fast. Maybe this is just my idiocy, but it's what I think. I don't like purple uniforms. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings look very good. I don't think the Baltimore Ravens have looked good. I don't think Northwestern's ever looked good. I'm just not a fan of purple uniforms. I think it looks slow out on the field or the court or whatever. But people really like it. I thought that the Valkyries were going to go and incorporate more of the Warriors' color scheme into their own thing. Tweak it a little, different shade of gold or yellow, different shade of blue, but it looks like they're going purple. I thought maybe even like the international orange to throw back to old Warriors uniforms. Not bad. When I first heard it was going to be Valkyries, I thought to myself, too many syllables. Like, that's a mouthful. The Golden State Valkyries. And then I said, wait a minute, Golden State Warriors is the same amount of syllables. So I had to throw that theory right out there. Again, they totally blew it, but not using the ride of the Valkyries in the promotional video. Just call me old-fashioned, I guess. But I like it. I like the name. I do. I like Valkyries. I think that they got that one right. So, we'll see what kind of Valkyries merch we see on these streets and how long it takes to really get there. But a lot of fans are excited, and, good for the WNBA, which is officially, throwing the ball up on its first, congratulations, you're all big girls now season of basketball. And I don't say that in any condescending way. Anyone who wants to tell me that I'm not on the right story here is bullshitting themselves. This is the first year that the WNBA has ever truly mattered to the general public and to the general sports conversation. Thank you very much, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, by the way, is making her WNBA debut this evening against the Connecticut Sun. The game is completely sold out. It is the Sun's first ever sellout. They've existed for 20 years. Caitlin Clark, she's the difference maker. She's the straw that stirs the drink. Again, the only thing the Valkyries blew was, to me, the color scheme. And not launching a year earlier, and that would have had them with Caitlin Clark and think of the amount of money they could have actually charged for tickets. Joe Pampliano, friend of the channel, saw today he was writing about the economy of Caitlin Clark. This game's going to be on ESPN2, and the cheapest ticket to Caitlin Clark's professional debut at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut is 6 times more expensive than the Suns' next home game. To get in, the get-in price is $110. The very next game, $17. Again, I still don't know if we can properly evaluate what any of these teams are worth when Caitlin Clark is really that much of a needle mover. With Caitlin Clark in the building, you can sell tickets for over $100. Without her, you're selling tickets for the price of a gas station t-shirt. Again, certainly the wrong day to try to dump on the WNBA in any way. I'm not trying to do that. I think the Warriors did a nice job with the launch of their franchise, and good luck to the WNBA. We'll see if you can capture as much interest in this year as the run-up to this year has generated the most amount of interest in women's basketball I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes in my lifetime. By the way, I had to pin this. Michelle Haberman, did you come up with this yourself, Michelle? Michelle Haberman writes, warrior women descending from the skies, sinister spirits deciding who will die, warriors fierce with spears that shine as gold, piercing fighters, unforetold. Like, did Ride of the Valkyries have lyrics that I didn't know about? Michelle, did you just make that up? I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Good job. And for that, Michelle, you even got a konnichiwa from Japan this morning. So good job, Michelle. Okay. All right. Again, so many regulars in the chat. We will absolutely get... Oh, look. Jay Rodsky wants everyone to know he's back. He's back. I like that. Glad that you're back. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit notify. Don't miss a single thing that goes here on the channel. I thank you very, very much. The only other thing I would have gone with other than Valkyries would have been Golden Girls. Thank You for Being a Friend is already a built-in fight song. The Fightin' Blanche Dubois, I feel an opportunity might have been missed there. The Golden Girls, the Golden State Girls. I know you can't use the word girl without insulting a certain slice of all women these days. I don't know why. You go into the group, you could go into any group of men in the world and say, "What's going on, boys?" You get no pushback. And by the way, there it is. I was looking for it. I found it. There's your sip of the day right there. Took 23 minutes to get there. Don't even know what the over-under was. I try not to see these things. Try not to look at these things. Lots going on in the chat. Lots going on. There we go. Red Jet. Let's go. Team Tribe. Tribe Called Plus. Here we are. Here we are. John, good to have you in here. He's declaring himself back in the mix. Erwin, faster to 20,000 than I thought. Look, we're not there yet, but we're getting closer and closer. And yeah, it's faster than I thought too. I really hoped that maybe by the beginning of football season, we'd be around 20,000. But we've had a great month, a really great month here. And we're halfway through it. So thanks again for all the support and all the love. And that brings us to something that's getting harder to support and love. You know, if you grew up a Giants fan, I want you to remain a Giants fan. There's no giving up on a team. I don't believe in sports bigamy. You don't get a second favorite team, really. Certainly not in the same league anyway. Giants are now 9 games behind the Dodgers, and the best shot that they've got seems to be that unproductive overpaid players continue to get injured, which is forcing Farhan's hand to call up a group of minor leaguers who deserve to find out whether or not they can actually play in the major leagues. Every single RBI the Giants enjoyed Monday in their extra inning loss to the Dodgers was driven in by an injury replacement player. In other words, had Farhan been able to write the lineup the way Farhan envisions this lineup working and functioning, not a single run driven in would have been driven in because none of the guys would have even been on the team. The other thing that to just attribute it all to Farhan is unfair, but let's face it. Did you see 24 Willie Mays Plaza on Monday night? Buckle up. That could be your next decade. I don't even think it's an exaggeration to say that Dodgers fans outnumbered Giants fans 3-1. Certainly 2-1. I had a buddy who was at the game last night, and he said, holy shit, I haven't seen this much blue in this ballpark ever. And look, we've seen Dodgers come in with some pretty strong, loud, obnoxious crowds. Last night was stunning in terms of the takeover in that ballpark. And look, why not? Right? Why not? One franchise is a true major league contender driven by as much star power as we've seen probably in any lineup since the, mid to late 90s Derek Jeter at his peak New York Yankees. And the other team throws way too much money at best tier 2, more likely tier 3 free agents who immediately put on a Giants uniform and underproduce or are maybe good enough to now want to exercise their opt-out and go somewhere else. It feels like, the Giants are just stuck on this level of mediocrity that has walked hand in hand with Farhan since he got the job, but for one season. And let's not forget, is that one season wasn't enough to save Gabe Kapler, Farhan's handpicked hire, who is arguably the least popular Giants manager ever, certainly the douchiest Giants manager ever. He wears that crown and it sparkles. With the game on the line against the mighty, mighty Dodgers, Bob Melvin had to send Brent Wisely to the plate. Brent Wisely. The Dodgers got Betts, Freeman, Ohtani. Giants got Brett Wisely. That's just being outgunned. That's being outmanned. It's being out everythinged by a team that is your full-on daddy. Daddy. The Giants are going to be at best running on a treadmill, if not running backwards, I think, for the remainder of Farhan's employment, while the Dodgers are full steam ahead, not fucking around like no other Major League Baseball team I think I've ever seen. So that's your biggest rival. And the biggest rival could so thoroughly separate itself that other than warm Giants-Dodgers stories and memories that your grandparents would tell you, there might not be much of a rivalry over the next decade. That's how much star power the Dodgers have. The only thing that the Giants got going for them is baseball's a silly, funny game, and your team full of all-stars could absolutely lose to this team full of minor leaguers on just any particular night. And that's obviously the formula the Giants are kind of running out there. It's a whole bunch of past their prime major leaguers, overpaid major leaguers, a very large handful of quadruple A players, a bullpen that stinks until you get to Doval, 2 or 3 good starting pitchers, and it's not great. It's not great. I don't think there's any way to even pretend it's great. I don't even think you can pretend it's good. And let me just say this. If Elio Ramos sees the minor leagues again this season, Farhan should be dragged out of his office and drowned in McCovey Cove. Like, pick one of your young guys. I don't know. Maybe go with the one young guy who seems to be getting off to a nice start the first time we've seen him and continue to leave him in the lineup. See what happens. Just see what happens. Luckily, there are enough bad injuries on this team right now to where Farhan's hands are tied and he can't send anyone down even if he wants to. So. Oh, yeah. SF Indigo. Oi, tutu bang, Friday Night Lights. Yeah. Yeah, get your Portuguese ready. We're going to Brazil on Friday night. First Friday night of the NFL season anyways. Oi, tutu bang. Chef A saying, oh, sorry, late. No, Chef A, there's no such thing as late in YouTube. You use this whenever it works best for you. I insist on it. Again, we'll get back into Club Plus here in just a little bit. Instead of me working in more of the chat into the show, we'll reserve it for Club Plus the rest of the way because I got a few other things to tell you here today. Number one, here's the best factoid that you're going to hear all day about sports, and it just shows you how much Major League Baseball has changed its pitching philosophies and how babied starting pitchers are probably a big reason why so many starting pitchers are getting hurt. Saw this from Ryan Spader, who is always dropping interesting Major League nuggets on my timeline. Today would have been Roy Halladay's 47th birthday. Roy Halladay died when he was 40. Died in a plane crash, a small engine prop plane crash in November of 2017. Again, he's been gone a long time now, but he would have been 47 years old today. Given the fact he obviously hasn't made a start in a very, very long time, I think that this should embarrass Major League Baseball, this stat I'm about to share with you. Even though Roy Halladay died in 2017, he still leads all of Major League Baseball in complete games since 2009. Isn't that something else? Isn't that incredible? He still leads Major League Baseball in complete games. Complete games are almost as rare as no-hitters these days. How many complete games do you think we actually get in the Major League season across every single team in Major League Baseball? Do you think we'll get 30 complete games this year in Major League Baseball? 30 starting pitchers reach the final out of the ninth inning? Do you think that even is? It's probably not even 30. It's just amazing. Again, I like Major League Baseball and being able to look at modern baseball and compare it to its history. It's going to become harder and harder to do because they're not playing baseball anything remotely like they sort of used to play baseball. And I always said to myself, and I've said many times on the air and here, that baseball is the only sport whose past is more valuable than its present or its future. Well, of course, baseball is now using its present and future to devalue its past. Again, given the chance to get it right or screw it up, it's amazing how often baseball goes out of its way to choose, let's screw that up. Let's see, we've also got a couple of what I think are monster game fives. We got both series tied at 2 in the NBA playoffs. We got Pacers and Knicks going back to Madison Square Garden. Tip-off 5 o'clock West Coast TNT, followed by Timberwolves and Nuggets. And I'm just telling you, if the Nuggets win tonight, they have not won on their own home court yet. If the Nuggets win tonight, I think they're going back to the NBA Finals because I don't think either the Dallas Mavericks or the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to beat the Nuggets or the T-Wolves. And this is going to be a big gag job by the T-Wolves. If they take the first 2 games on Denver's court and then lose 4 in a row, whew, how are you going to explain that to the fans? Last thing to get to you before we go to Club Plus. And remember, I've been telling you, it's really, really important to go out and support the bars and the restaurants that you like. You know, I'm watching my man Ike turn what used to be one restaurant into a very significant chain of restaurants, and I'm so proud of him. This man is growing his company exponentially. He's so good. He's so smart. He's so business savvy. He found a way to take a sandwich shop and start really turning it into a chain. And you got to go out and keep supporting my man Ike. Small restaurants, one standalone restaurants, you really got to support them. If you got a restaurant or bar in this town that you like, go and spend some money there this week, this weekend. They need your business. I'm not saying you got to be ordering from the we fucking tonight side of the menu. Just go get an appetizer and a cocktail, leave a nice little tip, spend a great 40 minutes sitting at the bar enjoying yourself. When I was a kid, Red Lobster was a big deal. You know, maybe it's growing up on the East Coast. Red Lobster meant, oh, it's grandma's birthday. It's somebody's birthday. Red Lobster. This isn't just a chain restaurant. This isn't like the seafood of Applebee's, even though it really kind of was. The Applebee's of seafood, I guess I should call it. It always felt like going to Red Lobster was special. Red Lobster abruptly closed the doors on at least 99 restaurants nationwide on Monday. A restaurant liquidator now reveals it is auctioning off kitchen items and furniture from these shuttered Red Lobster locations as part of its largest restaurant equipment sale ever. Red Lobster is now considering bankruptcy. And by the way, if you ever hear a big company is considering bankruptcy, the word considering should be replaced with twiddling their thumbs until they file for. Because if you're considering bankruptcy, you're just trying to do everything you can to not do it. They will file for bankruptcy. And like a lot of bankrupt companies, again, I got laid off by a company that then filed for bankruptcy. You will see them treat their employees like absolute crap on the way out of their crappy business. Employees at these Red Lobster locations, not all of them, but one particular in Buffalo that I was reading about, were greeted at the restaurant by a sign that was taped to the door that said, "We are closed permanently." That's how they found out they got laid off. That's how they found out that they lost their job. Walking to a door and reading a sign. Now, look, when Matt Nahagian laid me off, he called me on the phone to do it, which is still just as cowardly a move as you could possibly come up with. But at least it wasn't a sign on the door on the studio that said, "Damon, you don't work here no more." Good God. What a terrible way to find out that your income is coming to a screeching halt right here. Go and support your local bars and restaurants. They need it. Chains are dying. I don't know what's a worse investment these days based on people's habits, because people do not go out for evenings the way that they used to anymore. I don't know what's a more dead-on-arrival business model, a radio station or a restaurant. It's tough out there, man. It's tough. I did like, it's funny, you know, Red Lobster, the best part about it was the cheddar biscuits. I remember those cheddar biscuits. They just keep dropping off basket after basket after basket. You know, those are great. I mean, I don't think you can blame Red Lobster for the lobster not being great. That's kind of the lobster's fault. You just boil the son of a bitch. It's basically all you can do. But I just remember the cheddar biscuits being legit. Garth Yap says, Damon, don't tell the Barney people about your dislike of purple. That would definitely get me in Dutch with the Barney crowd. There's no doubt about that. So, at the risk of offending anyone about my dislike of the color purple, the only thing I like about the color purple is the original movie, The Color Purple. The remake that they tried to turn into a musical is just awful. And then it's Jack's favorite color. Of course, my son would pick one of my least favorite colors as his favorite color. I don't transfer my dislike of purple. Go Jack. You like purple? Great. That's great. So no more shots at purple. And I want to thank everyone who's listening to the podcast today for doing so. If you're not watching and subscribing over on YouTube, please do that as well. It would mean a great deal to me if every single podcast listener who's not subscribed to the YouTube channel could maybe do that tonight. Let's get over 20,000 before we wake up tomorrow morning. I would love that. Thank you so much, though, for just listening to the podcast. If that's how you consume the show, thank you, thank you, thank you. And please do remember that you're going to miss out on Club Plus if you're not watching the YouTube channel, but you do know that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Here we go. Damn it, where's the plug? Somebody always moves a plug on here. Who? There it is. Plug it in. The squeakiest disco ball in America. That's what we got. That's how you know what show you're watching. Yeah, it might be the Damon Bruce show, but I don't hear a squeaky disco ball, so it can't be. Now you know. UC Steve says Lacob doesn't know about the Sacramento Monarchs. What's next? He'll have a beam soon. Do the Monarchs even exist anymore? I mean, again, I didn't pay any attention to the WNBA. How about this? Let me be completely honest. I've never watched a WNBA game in my life. Never. Not one. I did watch Caitlin Clark, and I watched more women's basketball during the Final Four than every other year of my life combined. So, Caitlin Clark has pulled me into the tent. Will I watch a scotch of this Caitlin Clark debut on ESPN2 tonight? Yeah. Curiosity is going to get the best of me. I'm going to be flipping on the couch. Giants, Dodgers. I'm sure the A's are playing someone. The WNBA game doesn't mean nearly as much as the NBA playoff games, but we got some things to flip back and forth, and the curiosity of Caitlin Clark will get me. I'll give her full credit on that. But I don't know, do the Monarchs even exist anymore? Let's see. True Blue Forever saying, people are saying that, what is it, Paige, is it Buchers or Buckers is better? Maybe. I don't know. And look, Tom C says, WNBA, I don't need more suggestions for things to fall asleep to. That's fair. I'm not jamming it down your throat. You don't like it. I'm not going to try to shame you in any way, shape, or form. I don't even know if I like the WNBA, but I think Valkyries is a good name. They got to keep those lights on at Chase Center to keep making money in there. So it was only a natural progression that they would go ahead and get a WNBA team. Lacob loves the sport. He's a good investor, and this is now a good investment. So that's why you're getting a WNBA team. It wasn't like the city of San Francisco was clamoring for it. Joe Lacob has done the math, and the math says, do it. You'll make money. So that's why they're doing it. Was that poetry by Michelle? I didn't see. Did she actually claim that she did that, Red Jet? Did she claim, was that all Haberman? Was that Hey the Babe? Otis Bird? Michelle says, I think the Sparks are purple and gold too, right? So that wouldn't work. I guess. I guess. Do the Sparks still function in LA? I think they do. I think the pretty girl from Stanford, the Cameron Diaz lookalike, didn't she get drafted by the Sparks? The fact that I even know that, I'm sorry I'm blanking on her name. The Cameron something? Cameron Brink? Did I get that right? I'm telling you. I am living proof that the WNBA is growing because I could not have given less fucks about that league or the sport. And now I know things about it just because it's in the air. The Fightin' Blanches, right? I mean, that would have been it. That would have been it. The Fightin' Blanches, the Golden Girls. Have Franco Finn out there getting you all excited. He's introducing the team, and then, thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. That's one of the catchiest theme songs in the history of television. Come on. I love me some Golden Girls. Got 4 great comedians, good writers. I love the Golden Girls. I used to watch it with my grandma all the time. I think it also makes me, think of my grandma, which just is warm, fuzzy Golden Girl memories. What else? What else? This is 415 Noe, or 415 No. Says, I'm a new guy here, and I'm an IU classmate. What do you mean, you like an IU grad, or were you a classmate of mine? I don't know who you really are, but it's great that you're here. Like and subscribe. Welcome, and go Hoosiers, baby. John, Damon, thanks for the shout-out. Glad you're here to stay, brother. Thank you. We got SF Indigo, my man Baron Red. Farhan always he's just a Dodger plant. I mean, you would think some of the corresponding moves seem to benefit the Dodgers more than they do the Giants. I got to be honest about that. Damon, I'm still mad at Fitzgerald. Yeah, you got a Fitzgerald other than Bob Fitzgerald to be mad at. He got picked off at first. You just can't get picked off at first. You cannot make a mistake against the Dodgers. If you make a mistake, they're going to be all over it. True Blue says, so blue. My man Otis, way too many Dodger fans at the park last night. Again, I got a text from my buddy going, you wouldn't believe it in here. They're going with Violet. You're turning Violet, Violet. They're going with Violet. Valkyrie team store. Well, let's be honest. Violet is purple adjacent, is it not? Look at Leslie. Leslie might be onto something here, saying, Damon, your Valkyrie opening sounds like the autumn wind. That's Michelle. Michelle, your poem should be the Valkyrie's level of autumn wind. Otis said, sadly, Larry Bear is cool with it. He was on KNBR last week. Copes asked him about Dodgers fans taking over. He seemed more concerned about selling tickets, no matter who buys them. Correct. They don't care who the ticket is sold to. They just want to sell the ticket. It's like the Golden State Warriors, the whole great timeout era. They wanted you to come in and watch the opponent as much as they wanted you to come in and watch the crappy team that they were rolling out there at the time. And look at this. Here's how much rockin' New Area in 84 and I think alike. You're turning Violet, Violet. See? I mean, come on. Come on. UC Steve says, Damon, it's okay. We have Levi South when the 49ers are in LA. Yeah, there's that. At least you got that. Let's see. E. Scott Burns says, look, there's no there for the San Francisco Giants. The culture left when Bochy was given his exit. The only prospects in the lineup I want to see are Ramos and Luciano. No more retreads. Yep. I hear you. I hear you, Burns. UC Steve. Okay, this is what we're not going to do. Most Dodger fans have been fans for 5 years or less. Dude, don't act like the Dodgers are the Arizona Diamondbacks or the Colorado Rockies. It's the fucking LA Dodgers. Like, baseball teams can be as big as the LA Dodgers. They don't get bigger. They don't. You don't get bigger than the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers, Yankees, Cubs, Red Sox, Giants in a good year. But the Dodgers are part of the crown jewels of Major League Baseball. Never try to pretend that that's not reality, that the Dodgers don't have as much history, as much lineage, as much things in the past to be proud of, if not more, than most franchises combined with other franchises. It's the LA Dodgers, dude. Come on. It's a big deal. And by the way, wouldn't you want them to be? Wouldn't you want your rival to be historically significant as well? You don't want your rival to be the Seattle Mariners. Your rival's the Seattle Mariners. Like I think I yawned saying that. What are you talking? Who cares? Joji. Only thing the Giants got going right now is the Gilroy garlic fries. That and Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks, Logan Webb, Camilo Duvall, Elio Ramos. That's a thing. This is what makes them frustrating. This is why people get angry. Because the premise of a watchable, decent team is there. They just don't follow that premise through or screw up the premise by overpaying for past its prime talent. Matt Chapman, so what? That should be Casey Schmidt. Live or die. Live or die with the kids. It'll be better than just treading water with Matt Chapman. And by the way, I like Matt Chapman. I still got him on the least, on the list of things that I'm worried about the least. At least he's a major leaguer. Bob is a solid manager, Boomer T says. Just going to take some time. I agree. Again, I'm not angry at Brett Wisely or Bomel for throwing him up to the plate. Like, that's what he's got. That's what he's got. I mean, it's funny, I'm not sitting there constantly looking, refreshing Dodgers lineup. I see who's in the team. They got Teoscar Hernandez. Like, it's just one of their throwaway guys. I mean, that guy would, if Teoscar Hernandez was a San Francisco Giant, he's starting wherever he wants and he's getting 600 at-bats. Sporticus says, nothing says I hate the Dodgers, but not enough not to sell my tickets. Like an arch enemy taking over your stadium. Here's the thing. It's not like these tickets are being picked up on the secondary market. Like, if you want any ticket to any Giants game, you go right to the website. They're for sale right now. Like, that is a walk-up crowd ballpark to this day. So you can, you don't need to go secondary market to get your decent Giant ticket. You can just go buy one. Irwin saying Casey Schmidt's not ready either. His plate discipline's horrendous. Well, again, give him time. You either decide. Here's the thing. You either decide this guy is worth the growing pains or he shouldn't even be on your team. That's what. And so I am cool going with growing pains more than I'm cool with this guy's grown too old level growing pains. That bothers me. Joji. Kapler was more concerned with how tight his uniform was fitting him. Oh, absolutely. You know, he's asking everyone, like, can you take this seam in a little bit here? Can you take this in so I get more out of my bicep? Michelle is just a freaking poet today. The Violent Violet Valkyries. I like it. I don't know if the Warriors are going to go forward with the word violence as part of their slogan, but I like what you're saying. By the way, I'm all about this here frantic rage. I would avoid small planes no matter what. So many tragedies. Here's the way I feel. If it's got a propeller, I'm not interested. If it's got a propeller on it, I don't want to get on that airplane. Jet engines, I feel better about. What else have we got going on in this chat right now? True blue forever. The Nuggets ain't stopping. I would agree with you there. I think they're about to rip off 4 in a row after dropping the first 2. You can tell we are officially where we got into Club Blues. Thank you, Christopher. We do like to move it, move it. Red Lobsters. They're closing everywhere. Hey, Shooter, you want to go to Red Lobster? Who remembers Charlie Brown's? Was that a chain restaurant? I don't remember Charlie Brown's. I don't remember. But again, sometimes chain restaurants are regional. Why don't you just auction off those biscuits, right? It's rocking Eastwood. Yeah, look, I mean, those are good cheddar biscuits, man. Rockin' New Era is like, oh man, I gotta get my Red Lobster gift card up ASAP. Yes, you do. Get to a Red Lobster soon if you can, folks. They ain't gonna be around much longer. Need those biscuits. Here's the thing, man. You start talking about biscuits. When does anybody say no to biscuits? It's one of them universal things, right? I've never heard anyone be like, I don't like biscuits. Boomer T, the price of seafood is now outrageous. The price of everything is pretty bad. By the way, not to go Fiesta Politico on you, but next time you hear like, oh, the price of cereal, Joe Biden, blah, blah, blah. It's not Joe Biden's fault that your prices of cornflakes has gone up. Complain to Mr. Kellogg's. Corporate greed is driving up prices in ways that no one could have ever imagined. That's what's killing us. Corporate greed. Sons of bitches. Leon from Curb ate all the shrimp. Yeah. Can we get a Leon Black spinoff? Can we do that? Again, the biscuits. Biscuits. Lobster is typically only good if you live on the coast, not in the Midwest. Well, again, it's, you know, if you want seafood, probably shouldn't be in a landlocked state. I've always said the most famous restaurant in Indianapolis is Elmo's Steakhouse. And you can get a great steak at Elmo's Steakhouse, but it's most famous, Elmo's is, for its flaming hot horseradish shrimp cocktails. And the reason why I think the horseradish is on DEFCON 1 level of horseradishy cocktail sauce hotness is to cover up the fact that these shrimp are like rubbery and not very good. So we're just going to blow your nostrils out where you just go, oh. I heard from a guy who ran a sushi restaurant who was a friend of mine, liked and listened to the show an awful lot, that if you feel like, ooh, there's a little bit more wasabi on this piece of sushi that I'm eating than there normally is, it's because that's day-old fish, and they're trying to give you another flavor profile other than day-old fish. So you need to be aware of that, I guess. Chef A, cheddar biscuits unlimited? I miss them, and I've never even been to a Red Lobster. You know what I'm talking about. See, that's the thing. You can take a highly trained professional chef, say the word biscuit, and they're like, what? Biscuits? I'm the one who said just grab them in the biscuits. Is Camilo DeVille coming out here, or are we in Club Plus? Thank you. Thank you very much. A's and Astros, lock it in. That's right. I knew who they were playing. I kind of forgot. Go A's. I think the Astros frickin' took them apart last night, didn't they? Carl again saying the Monarchs have been dethroned. Yeah, look, the Kings almost didn't make it up in Sacramento. The Monarchs didn't have any shot either, right? Damon, it's Paige Becker's. It's Becker's spelled Buchers. Okay. Now I know. Thank you. What else we got going on here today? The chat is just flying. I can hardly keep up with you. Cameron Brink. I got it right. By the way, she's beautiful. Like, Cameron Brink is absolutely beautiful woman. Golden Girls still on TV, and yes, I watch religiously. My favorite is just any and all Betty White when she talks about, like, God, there's the Jurgen Flurg and the Kjurgen. Like, she just, Betty White was so funny. So funny. B. Arthur, funny as hell. Oh, look at that. Shout out B. Arthur right here. Gareth. Gareth Yep. Thank you very much. Big Mac. We're going to call him Big Green Bay. That's where he lives now. Hit that like and subscribe, folks. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Bartender at Upstairs and Bob Knight. You were in a Bob Knight class with me? And you bartended at the Upstairs pub? Hell yeah. We got to get together. Let's me, my buddy Greg, who also went to IU, get together, go out to lunch, Trace Jackson Davis. Let's put the Hoosiers together here on the West Coast, baby. Again, we got a horn section. My man Rick Mighty Bone Feliciano says, Damon, are we okay with the Warriors ending everything with Durant and seeing what happens even if they lose? Hey, no, Kevin Durant's talented enough to where I'd give him a call. Kevin Durant's a bucket. He'll always be a bucket. He'll never be a leader. He'll always be a bucket. You put Kevin Durant on the Warriors, historically, good things have happened. Going older or backwards, there are very few guys At that age, I'd be interested in adding. But look, I would take a look at LeBron, and I would take a look at. Do you see? By the way, speaking of LeBron, what is he taking a look back at Cleveland? He's sitting courtside. Jonas. Speaking of Jurgen Flurgen, my man Jonas Johansson. Good to catch you back live. Still not over the Super Bowl, nor should you be. That hurt. That officially hurt. All right. Scanning, looking, super chats. Am I finding any? You want to make sure we say thank you to everyone who goes out of their way to make a little jingle jangle in the ganja jar. I don't think we got one today, so I'll tell you what. You better all be liked and subscribed. Thank you so much. Said Danny Golding. Speaking of Kellogg's, Jerry Seinfeld has a new movie about Kellogg's. It's a little ridiculous. Yeah, isn't it about the creation of the Pop-Tart? I had a buddy of mine tell me it was bad. My interest in watching it, because my buddy's got a great sense of humor, and when he told me that this was bad, I was like, geez, because I kind of wanted to watch it. I'm a big Seinfeld guy. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Again, my time watching TV is so I got to pick and choose my moments because he's 2 kids. So I got to be careful with my free TV time. True Blue forever. Damon, what about a rubber biscuit? Hey, but him and a majibala. Hey, but if that doesn't make any sense to you, go look it up. I think it's a song that the Blues Brothers covered. And I'll tell you right now, Jack loves that song. Also found out last night that my son likes Coconut by Harry Nilsson. Jack, we were just had, random selected music on and Coconut. And all of a sudden, Jack's like, what's this song about limes and coconuts putting together? I said, yeah, you put your lime in the coconut and then you feel better. He loved it. He likes the way he talks, too. Let me get this straight. You put a lime in the coconut. Anyone else giving you Harry Nilsson references? Anyone else doing Humpty Dance? It is pronounced with an umpty, as True Blue Forever so rightfully points out. It's like we share the same brain, True Blue Forever. R.I.P. Shock G, indeed. Big Green Bay. You stand on that. Again, we're not saying you're a Packers fan, but you're now Big Green Bay. All right. I'm saying, okay on KD, but hell no to LeBron. Look, LeBron James, whether you like him or not, was still one of the 10 best players in the NBA last year. He is a force of nature on a basketball court still. And if he were to opt out, all you got to do is sign him. Again, you got to trade for Durant. You're going to have to trade. You're going to have to go assets out in. If you're telling me the only thing that the Warriors would need to bring in LeBron would be him opting out and money, you don't have to give up any assets? Like, get out of your emotions. That's still LeBron fucking James, dude. He's really good. We do have great musical taste. Although we have officially doomed Chef A to have that in her head all day. So let me get this straight. You put the lime in the coconut. You drink them both together. Put the lime in the coconut, and then you feel better. I guess when you're singing lime in the coconut, that's the end of the show. So, thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed today. I thank you for being here today. Again, help us climb to 20,000 by the time we go to bed tonight. And then let us wake up with even more to grow on NFL schedule release day. I'm going to call Kruger and find out if we're going early with Wake Up, if he doesn't want to join me at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but I got kid coverage. So we're going live at 5, baby, with the NFL schedule release party right here on the Plus. I hope you plan on joining me. And I thank you so very much for supporting what we're doing over here. And that's why it breaks my heart to let you know that you don't have to go home. You just can't stay here.